We have an amazing episode for you today. And as always, we're brought to you by Bitdefender Small Business Security. Check out Bitdefender Small Business Security. You go into your house, click, you lock the door to be safe. You get out of your car, boop, boop. You make sure your car is secure. What about your business? You've taken so much time and effort and energy, blood, sweat, and tears in some cases to grow your business. Make sure to secure with Bitdefender Small Business Security. Malware is real. Ransomware is real. Hackers want to attack small businesses. Don't let them get past you. Be more secure. Be secure with Bitdefender Small Business Security. Again, welcome to a brand new episode of The Rundown with Ramon. What do we have up today for you? We're going to talk about some insight from Raising Cane's founder, Chicken Place, I believe it is Raising Cane's founder, Todd Graves, gives some tips on a billionaire's or a $1 billion mindset. Seth Godin always has amazing advice. The order and medium of feedback. Wall Street Journal talks about the way I text is deeply uncool, but I don't care. Something in there grabbed me because I'm kind of like that ish too. Chris Schembra, congratulations, Chris Schembra, for what you've done in bringing people together all around a bowl of pasta, or a bowl of sauce rather, starting a lean business, what you really need to launch from zoneofgenius.com. And Guy Raz, founder of How I Built This Newsletter, talks about two types of entrepreneurs, marathoners versus sprinters. I've said this before, it is not new, and I will keep saying it again. Glad you're here today on today's Rundown with Ramon. If you're enjoying what I'm putting out there, definitely let me know in the comments, in the chat, in the forward. Would appreciate hearing from you, whether you're listening to us live or hearing us on demand. Let me know that this is resonating with you on the Rundown with Ramon. You may notice I'm in a brand new location, in a new temporary location, celebrating the birth of my daughter's first child coming up in a few weeks. And so I'm here spending some time with her and family and my wife to support my wife really and what she's doing as well. So let's move forward. Again, this episode brought to you by Bitdefender Small Business. Interesting insight from entrepreneur. The founder of Raising Cane was able to sit down with some influencers and talk to them about building a $1 billion brand. And Jason Pfeiffer, executive editor of Entrepreneur Media, illustrates this, and it goes over this for us. It says, when Raising Cane opened a new restaurant in Miami, it hired local influencers to hype it up. And these two influencers were Hannah and Haley Cavender. And he talks about them. They interviewed him for this, and he talks about them about how to build a right brand and his background story. And Haley says, when you started Raising Cane's, did people understand what you wanted to build? No, 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 no. People turned him down over and over and over again. But he says, I just believed in myself. And if you can serve a craveable meal consistently over and over and over again, it's going to be a success. So most of the people who started out and built a successful business, people have not believed in them. And then they ask a great question. Once you got going, what was the hardest part? Well, when we started, we really didn't know what we were doing. He was open 7 days a week. Back then, the college students I hired wouldn't show up for work. So they really didn't know what they were doing, and they had to figure it out. Todd also says there's no balance as a startup. You are grinding, putting 100% into it. So there's no balance. You have to build and grow this baby. Look, I profited $30 my first month, and I was thrilled. Todd says the next hard phase was going from one restaurant to two. I didn't know how to build teams. I got as much advice as I could, but it was more about learning through trial and error. And this is a large part of the entrepreneurial journey. Talks about he was a sports fan. He was a football coach, I believe it is here, reading here quickly. And he learned leadership principles through sports. And there's a lot of leadership principles we can all learn through sports. And he also says making mistakes is not bad. It's okay to make mistakes, as Dave Ramsey would say, especially non-fatal mistakes, as long as you learn from them. Advice he goes on and says we also learn how to get the most out of a group of people. When we all have one common goal, it doesn't matter what someone's past is or where they came from. The common goal we have together is the key. Todd says, you're years ahead of your time. I literally tried to control everything and make everything so perfect is one of the biggest lessons. You can't. Concentrate on progress rather than perfection. Listen, big props to Jason Pfeiffer, Entrepreneur Media team. Thanks for putting this together for us and sharing this. Lessons from Todd here of Raising Cane's Chicken, $1 billion mindset. And I hope what you're seeing from this is that He has $1 billion mindset, but guess what? This mindset he has, this should be for all of us. Again, welcome to a brand new edition of The Rundown with Ramon. My name is Ramon Ray. Get to know me better at zoneofgenius.com. Don't forget to sign up for our email newsletter. Do not miss out. Brand new area here, kind of plain white walls. Is it the perfect thing I want? Absolutely not. But I'm moving forward for the next period of time, going forward with not perfection, but with moving forward, iterating as best I can. Again, thank you for the team at Bitdefender Small Business for helping us understand the importance of protecting our business again and again and again. Ding, 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 ding. Next up, Seth Godin always brings amazing, powerful advice. And I got this little nugget from Seth Godin. He talks about the order and the medium of feedback. Who do you pay attention to? Seth Godin says, do you respond or react to the feedback that's coming in? Do you seek it out or wait for it to arrive? Does vivid online feedback from anonymous trolls carry more weight than honest but more subtle feedback from actual customers? And Seth Godin says this: pick your feedback, pick your future. Pick your feedback, pick your future. What sort of feedback changes your behavior, attitude? He says, delivered with enthusiasm or a scowl, in private or in public, in writing or verbally. The goal might not be to find a way to get only positive applause, because your project may very well benefit from thoughtful feedback. The useful path is to figure out which sort of feedback suits you in which stage of the project. It's not for you, and I don't want to show it to you right now, are valid approaches to our creative process. Everybody, welcome to The Rundown with Ramon. Insight from my friend Seth Godin to help us know how to grow our businesses and take them to the next level. This little nugget is next, and I love this in the Wall Street Journal. The way I text is deeply uncool, but I don't care. I'm not sure how you text, but I know my texting can be very simple and plain. I've never been a fan of all the emojis, not responding with a heart, responding with a flame, responding with something like that. Sure. But I've never been one for all the butterflies and emojis and gifts and all the things that many people do. And interesting, Wall Street Journal talked about that very thing today. I know all about emojis and voice memos. So why do my friends say I write like a boomer, like a baby boomer, right? Boomer, writes Johanna Goldman in the Wall Street Journal. The way I text was what was old about my texting. My phone uses a regular font, does not bear letters the size of baby carrots. I also feel I have a decent grasp of emojis. Was it the length? A friend did once remark that even when I'm sending the simplest of messages, I tend to overwrite it, like I'm sending some quill and ink from the war up front. You need to stop with the punctuation, one of her friends responded to her. Do you use punctuation in text? I asked my husband. He shrugged with the aloof cool of James Dean and went on, nope. So it's a funny little note here. And I wonder if you identify with it. How we communicate doesn't reveal how our age is, but it does matter how we communicate. And I would think whether we're communicating like we're an old person or a younger person or whatever the age you're communicating, the most important thing to keep in mind, the most important thing that matters is that we communicate appropriately. Some communications, we need to communicate succinctly and to the point. Some communications deserve a more verbose response. Some communications we can get by with a boop, an emoji, while other communications, maybe it takes a bit more. However you communicate, the question of the day to understand today is, make sure you're conveying your thought. Or remember, sometimes when you're communicating via text or however you may be doing it, make sure that the message that you intend is not lost, because sometimes you can be communicating something and somebody reads and understands something different than you shared. And that, my friends, is no bueno. Welcome to a brand new edition of The Rundown with Ramon. This episode brought to you by Bitdefender. I encourage you. You go home at night, you lock your door, you get out of your car, you lock your car, boop, boop. Make sure you've downloaded and are using Bitdefender Small Business, Bitdefender Small Business for your business needs to protect your business. I do, and you should as well. Moving forward here, ding, 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 ding. Kudos to Chris Schembra. I've been around Chris Schembra a few times, once or twice or three times. I read his email list, though, many, many times. I feel like I know him. You should look up Chris Schembra. Chris, C-H-R-I-S, and then Schembra, S-C-H Schembra. If you know Chris Schembra, do me a favor and tell him Ramon Ray said hello, and Ramon Ray shouting it out. 10 years ago, he stood in a 350 square foot Manhattan apartment with a pot of red sauce and a question that would change everything. He had just returned from producing a Broadway show in Rome, but he was a success, but he was running on empty, felt disconnected, anxious, and out of sync with the deeper purpose. Rather, that's when the idea hit him. Inspired by Italians gathered around the table, laughing, crying, lingering, Chris invited 15 strangers into his home. He handed out tasks, shared the kitchen, and together they co-created a meal. At 7:47 p.m., they put the pasta in the pot. Then halfway through dinner, he asked this question: If you could give credit or thanks to one person in your life that you didn't give enough credit to, who would it be? And basically, this has led to 750 gratitude experiences, 361 corporate events across 6 continents, a #1 Wall Street Journal bestseller, and so much more. What Chris has learned about this is the power that vulnerability creates trust, and trust creates connection, that you don't need to be fearless, just willing. True success often comes from building systems, not relying on talent, and human connection can be designed intentionally. Sometimes you have to write your own rules to live a fulfilled life. Congratulations to Chris Schembra, what I'll call a hidden hero, bringing people together across the world, all over some pasta and sauce. Welcome to a brand new edition of the Rundown with Ramon. Ask yourself this question: what could you do to bring people together? What could you do to be more vulnerable? What could you do to make the world a better place? And we all have that opportunity to make the world a better place. Welcome to the Rundown with Ramon. Ding, 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 ding. Next up, starting a lean business, what you really need to launch. And this is important that I go over these over and over and over again, because we see in the news and the media, I have Yahoo Finance on here talking about big billion-dollar stock markets and stock prices, which are important, which drive our economy to some degree, yes. But it's also important to know that you can build a viable business with no startup costs. You can build a viable business on a lean budget. You can build a viable business. It just takes some thought, just takes some thinking, just takes determination, just takes understanding who is your customer, just takes understanding, do you have the runway and the wherewithal to do it? Do you have the mindset to do it? As Marie Forleo talks about oftentimes, are you able to figure it out? Because everything is figure outable. This is important to keep in mind and understand. It doesn't take a lot to do it. Now, some things are doing it. You're building a manufacturing company, say making this cup and selling it to Walmart or Target or some other retail shop. You're going to have to put money in ahead of time to make the cups and have them buy it. There's a process there. But for the services industries, it takes very low amount of money to start that first business. And I encourage us today, everybody has the opportunity, the wherewithal within for us to do that as well. Again, everybody, my name is Ramon Ray. This is the Rundown with Ramon. Glad you're here today. Ding, 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 ding. Next up, some insight from Guy Raz. Guy Raz, as many of you may know that name, is the author rather, of How I Built This, and a huge ecosystem he has about entrepreneurship. And Guy Raz has written this some time ago, a year ago, as I read this. And he talks about there's 2 types of entrepreneurs: marathoners versus sprinters. And knowing which one you are, maybe both, is so important. Are you in the marathon to go the distance and go the long term to build that 10-year, 20-year, 30-year business? Or are you sprinting towards that, racing it, maybe getting some venture capital, hiring quickly, and fast growth, high growth? It's not that one is right, one is wrong. Depending on how you're doing it is up to you. But understand the type of entrepreneur, the type of business owner you are. And that's important to know. Everybody, my name is Ramon Ray. This is the Rundown with Ramon, and I'm so glad you said yes and joined me today. If you're hearing the sound of my voice, do me a favor, put a comment, share it out. Let me know you're hearing it. Reply back to me. Maybe you're getting this in an email newsletter. Do not miss out. Go to zoneofgenius.com and sign up for our email newsletter, zoneofgenius.com. Or whatever you do, remember to have your business be secure. This episode is brought to you by Bitdefender Small Business Security. Bitdefender Small Business Security. Go to bitdefender.com and sign up now for Bitdefender Small Business Security. I'll see you next time. You're looking for an amazing host for your event. Check me out, RamonRay.com. Let me come and speak at your event, host your event, MC your event, and most importantly, so you don't miss out on anything we're doing. Check us out at zoneofgenius.com, zoneofgenius.com. Thanks for being here today, and see you next time on the next Rundown with Ramon. Well, that's a wrap. Thanks so much for being here.